You know the question here, do you agree the province of Alberta should cease to be part of Canada, become an independent state, not a U.S. state?
We are in a business district on the south side of Calgary, Alberta.
Official canvasser's badge.
With wind chill, it's minus 11 degrees Celsius. But that's not enough to scare off these two volunteers from the Stay Free Alberta movement.
You see my ID, you're eligible to vote in Alberta, your signature. And then March 29th, 2026.
Just as they have every morning for the last 3 months, their aim is to get enough signatures to spark a referendum on the province's independence.
And the important part is to get out and vote in October.
Absolutely.
You know, like this here is this is just the beginning.
Get our foot in the door, right?
Get our foot in the door. Yeah.
On this Sunday, Wayne and Patricia register about 10 new signatories in an hour.
You know, it's absolutely time for a change. I don't know if anything will come out of it, but what we need is a lot of support.
Have a good one. Don't forget to vote.
The atmosphere is palpable. Car honks supporting the movement are sometimes swiftly followed by insults from others.
If they give me the finger, I just wave as if I'm so happy.
I just wave and say, God bless you, have a great day.
After a career as a technician in the oil industry, Wayne Lucelle has never felt so close to his goal.
We're not represented in the East. I have more in common with the people in Montana and North Dakota than I do with people from Ottawa, Quebec, PEI. The elite from the East are going to fight us tooth and nail not to do this. So we're going to win. I have no doubt in my mind. I'm very positive. I'm not standing out here and phrasing whether to fail.
Wayne and Patricia are not alone. Another team of volunteers is setting up on the opposite pavement. Across the entire province, interested people can use an interactive map to select their address and cast their vote. Behind this unprecedented movement is ranch owner and lawyer Jeffrey Roth.
We're just going to stop and say hello to some of our volunteers. They're out canvassing. We have over 7,000 canvassers right now working in across Alberta getting signatures. Hey boys! How are you? Just wanted to come out and thank you guys again for everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, how's it been going today?
Really good, thanks.
Nice, how are you? Yeah.
Jeffrey is quite content. His movement has just surpassed the 178,000 signatures needed to hold the referendum on Alberta's independence.
That's the flag of the province of Alberta, soon to be the country of Alberta. And we're very proud of it. You know, it's a beautiful flag.
To convince people of the merit of his project, the lawyer has a silver bullet: the end of federal tax in the province.
You know, there's a hardcore third that are in favor. There's probably a hardcore 25% that are against. And there's a very convincible group in the middle. But, you know, you ask people, you know, like, do you want your family to have an extra $50,000 a year? Or do you want to just, you know, or do you want to have some warm little spot in your heart for, you know, the Canadian flag and Canadian patriotism? And if you ask most people what they care about more, you know, a flag or, you know, their family's well-being, most people are going to take their family every time. Okay, we'll see you again soon. Thank you very much for your work.
Jeffrey's movement has recently received unexpected political support from Canada's southern neighbour. In January 2026, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent welcomes the Independence Initiative.
Alberta is a wealth of natural resources, but they won't let them build a pipeline to the Pacific. I think we should let them come down into the U.S., and Alberta is a natural partner for the U.S. They have great resources. The Albertans are very independent people. Rumor that they may have a referendum on whether they want to stay in Canada or not.
In charge of the province since 2022, Premier Danielle Smith recently halved the number of signatures required to trigger a citizens' initiative referendum. In her speeches, she regularly speaks of a sovereign Alberta within a united Canada.
At the end of the day, these are decisions for Albertans to make, and we trust Albertans to make the right decisions.
The next set of questions belongs...
Faced with the movement organised by the separatists, a counter movement has been mobilised.
Hey, how are you doing? Good.
Great, but it looks awesome.
This former Deputy Premier of Alberta has also launched a petition, this one to remain in Canada.
Michael will roll on the prompter. Do you want to do your intro?
Live from the studio at Production World, it's the Forever Canadian Town Hall. And now, here's your host, Sarita Ma.
Thomas, welcome. You recently launched a new campaign. Tell me more about that.
Well, people were wondering what's going on.
Campaign clips, door-to-door knocking, merchandise, and tonight in the studio, a live YouTube talk show.
Je vais aussi travailler à recruter des bénévoles francophones et bilingues.
The Forever Canadians movement has 6,000 volunteers. This trio of activists came to be on Thomas Lukashuk's show.
We're supposed to be about community. We're supposed to be about helping each other. But the separatist movement, it seems to be the opposite.
I love the mosaic that is Canada, and I don't want to see that divided. I think there's a lot of rhetoric and misinformation out there that's being spread around, and not as many facts.
Everything right now is all about social media, and social media is where we need to get the words out.
Thomas Lukashuk wants to make the No campaign a matter of national identity in the face of foreign interference.
This is a message about to the rest of the world, and particularly to the United States, saying that this country can't be torn apart, neither from the outside nor from the inside. This foreign interference has emboldened separatists. Sort of a perfect storm for the separatists. They have a premier that, for a first time, is not saying no. They also have coalesced. They found each other during COVID. There was unhappiness, dissatisfaction going on through social media. They coalesced into a better organized group. And now, for the first time in the history of North America, there's a president of the United States who outwardly is willing to interfere with Canadian domestic politics.
More than 260,000 Albertans.
Pro-Canada activists are not the only ones standing up against the separatists.
So we're headed to the Bukani Nation. They're having a rally or demonstration dealing with water issues. Chief Sunshine, Surgeon Lake Cree Nation. Nice.
The Cree, Blackfoot, and Saulteaux First Nations have occupied these plains for millennia. Signed at the end of the 19th century, official treaties between First Nations communities and the Canadian government preceded the actual creation of Alberta as it exists today.
How are you doing?
Good, thanks for coming.
You bet.
Having been in regular conflict since then with provincial governments over the management of resources, Indigenous leaders are worried about the current administration's turn towards independence.
We are part of the land. At signing a treaty, one of the misunderstandings from the Europeans is that they think it was just a transaction, and we're saying no, it was our understanding is we were going to share the land. Our ancestors would never give up a part of themselves.
The traditional gathering of chiefs in this teepee this morning aims to prepare for upcoming demonstrations in the province.
We're keeping media outside of the teepee until the formalities of...
I want to thank you all here. I'm always honored to sit with other leaderships. It's time that the governments understand that we're no longer an obstacle to go around. I'm late. A few minutes.
We find Chief Sunshine in Edmonton, where we were granted rare access to one of their meetings. The aim is to bring down Bill 54, an electoral code reform that was put forward by Danielle Smith's government and allowed the imposition of the referendum on Alberta's independence.
Everybody's aware of the court case, the challenges, and some of the things that brought us to this point. Of course, the Bill 54 challenge, and then them changing the law, and then us challenging the unconstitutional question.
Yeah, the movement here in Alberta by a small group of people is really impacting business and whatnot here in the province of Alberta. It's really bringing in uncertainty, and when we have uncertainty, it's hard for business to move one way or another, so we're starting to feel the impacts of that as well.
Long forbidden from being represented by lawyers to defend themselves in court, Indigenous people promised to make their ancestral and constitutional rights defeat the Independence Project. We find Jeffrey Roth at his ranch west of Calgary.
You know, everybody thinks, oh yeah, well, Canada can tie you up for the next 10 years. People are going to be shocked at how quickly this happens after Alberta votes yes to leave Canada. You know, like literally we'll be out within 6 months.
For him, contrary to Donald Trump's overtures, the US does not constitute a threat, but rather a business opportunity.
They're up on the hill that I don't think they want to come down because I think they're afraid they'll slip.
Despite his opponents saying otherwise, he claims that he's not funded by the MAGA movement.
Our entire movement is completely grassroots funded. All of the meetings that we've taken in Washington, we're all self-funded. We all pay for our own plane tickets and pay for our own hotel rooms. And the Americans know that we would be a far better ally to the United States than Mark Carney is in Ottawa. Alberta has the third largest oil resource in the world. Like, we don't need Canada. Canada needs us. You're a good boy.
Jeffrey promises a ramping up of the campaign in the coming weeks to convince Alberta voters to vote yes for the province's independence. On their side, the no supporters say they have already collected twice as many signatures as the separatists this year. Nearly 3 million Albertans are expected to vote in the historic referendum on October 19th.